is going on out there, peeps? It's voting season all over. And today's the day we go in and we vote on the 2022 elections. So here's the things that I was concerned about before this election even got here. You know, we've had 2 years, 2 solid years since that whole 2020 situation where there were people questioning the election results. I get that. 2 years. Remember, who were the states that were an issue? The swing states, mostly. We had issues with Arizona, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Georgia, Michigan. Those particular states all had issues around the same time, and they've been getting challenges about the 2020 situation now for the past 2 years. So 2 solid years, and if you think about it, it's been actually 6 years. 6, because in 2016, when the Dems were claiming that the election was rigged for Trump, they were complaining about election integrity back then. So it's been 6 years. So here we are in 2022. Let's see the progress that has been made to resolve the issues that are out there concerning voting. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. If you're thinking about buying gold and silver, go to our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange. The link is down below in the description. If you're a first-time buyer and you spend more than $100, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get an additional ½ ounce of silver with your order. Do it while supplies last. There is a worldwide shortage on precious metals, so don't get left behind. So here we go. This is what everybody's going for. We have, let's see here, it appears that there is 36 seats that are not up for grab for the Dems, 29 seats that are not up for grab for the GOP. So the Dems really don't have to win a lot of seats to maintain their control in the Senate. But it's ironic that the states that they are most concerned about are the senators in the very states in which had voting issues in 2020. So it has been 2 years, so that should have been resolved. There should be no more voting issues, isn't that right? Again, these were the big ones. Look at Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Georgia. Those were the big ones that everybody was keeping an eye on. Magically, they all shut down, claiming they couldn't get all their votes counted for that same night. I think it's only been done one other time for one state, but other than that, we've always been just fine making sure that all the votes were counted come election time. So let's see what kind of progress we've made since then. We'll start off with, I don't know, Arizona. Are you serious? Voting machine problems in Arizona fuel right-wing fraud claims. Well, forget all the fraud claims besides that. Okay, of course they're going to say something because the people on the right felt like they were screwed. And the people on the left felt like it was legitimate, and nothing was done to calm the nerves of either side. But already it's just starting, and what's going on in Arizona? Let's see here. We got Kari Lake. She is well ahead of Katie Hobbs over there in Arizona, and this is a huge battle. No reason to be suspicious here because Katie Hobbs has had a terrible campaign. And Kari Lake is just running laps around her. It's going to cause people to go down that rabbit hole, and rightfully so. All this should have already been addressed. But wait, there's more to this. Are you ready? Watch this. It said reports of dozens of malfunctioning ballot counting machines in Maricopa County in Arizona prompt a surge of voter fraud claims across right-wing media, and a sign that election doubts and conspiracy theorists would continue to find traction on election days. Well, that's because nothing's been done to put everybody's concerns aside. Nothing has. Too many suspicious things happening. Now, I don't have a dog in this fight. That's because I'm not allowed to express my true opinion about what's going on. But all I could say is this. After 2 years of all the fighting and audits and everything else, these things should have already been addressed. Now, you want to guess on what voting machines are there? Yes, the Dominions. So what is going on? Maricopa officials said the problems with ballot tabulation machines, including the rejections of valid ballots or their failure to reballot successfully, were affecting about 40 of the county's 223 voting centers. And you want to know why people are up in arms every time election time comes. And if you thought it was bad in 2020, it's going to be way worse this time around. It really is if this type of stuff continues. But wait, this is the fun part. This is the cherry on top of the ice cream. You ready? Bill Gates, chair of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors. Yeah, the Bill Gates. Said the problems were disappointing, but the voters could still cast ballots and that nobody was being denied a vote. Well, whenever we're dealing with paper ballots, there's a lot of concern about what happens with them. That's what people are upset about. Did you know that Bill Gates was the chair of the Maricopa Board of Supervisors? And I know everybody's going to say, why, he's a Republican. Yeah, is he? Is he really? So already in Arizona, people, rightfully so, are upset. Where was that other place? Philadelphia. That's right. And what's going on in Philadelphia? Warnick is up against Herschel Walker, the Hall of Fame running back from the NFL. We were told that Warnick was winning, a few weeks ago, but since then, Walker has lapped him, just like Kerry Lake did Hobbs over there in Arizona. And this is a must-have state for the Democrats. You know, I think it's interesting that Trump was way ahead in the 2020 election before everybody went to bed. And that's a fact, and YouTube shouldn't complain about that. That's just the truth. But when we woke up in the morning, Biden had passed Trump in all these states, the very states that are having trouble with votes. But I remember Biden telling people in the media not to worry about anything, and they weren't concerned because you never know what's going to happen the following day. And there was a ton of ballots that were still left that were mailed in, is what he said. It's almost like he was psychic. The next morning, lo and behold, he was right. And as you can see right here, look at this. Election Day live updates. Warnick concerned about human errors made in Cobb County. He's concerned about human errors. Does anybody want to put money on the possibility that Herschel Walker will be in the lead, and then we're going to find out that due to human error is why Walker was ahead, and they have since fixed it, and Warnick is going to be the winner? Watch, I'm like psychic. So Philadelphia is having voters come in and make corrections to their ballots. And look, that's actually what's supposed to happen. If you've made an error, you're supposed to have time to come in and make a correction. But I think what people are focusing on is the number of ballots is the real issue. Philadelphia voters who had missing or incorrect dates on their mail-in ballots were being allowed to file replacement ballots at City Hall or vote provisionally at the regular precincts on Tuesday. One of the concerns that was brought up is, how do you know who has come in and made the corrections? If somebody had something nefarious, they can just go ahead and make all the corrections themselves or have the corrections on standby. Well, I understand their concerns. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's what people are concerned about. It said hundreds of people whose names were published Friday by the Philadelphia City Commissioner, which is the city election board, showed up at City Hall on Monday to correct errors with dates as well as other flagged issues, including missing security envelopes and missing signatures. Now, here's where people have a conniption fit about this. Every time a mistake happens, every time there's an error, it always magically falls in favor of the Democrats. And that's why people question these elections. So you can understand where they might be coming from. Now, don't get me wrong. You got Republicans out there saying, look, there's nothing wrong. So it's not one-sided, okay? There are people in both political parties that are saying these are common issues. They're no big deal. It just depends. So then it falls back on the citizens on whether or not you believe or trust your representative. So here's what we see so far. It says it's unclear how many ballots had been flagged across the state. Philadelphia's list contains more than 3,500 names, almost 2,400 of which were cited for missing or incorrect dates. How do you get an incorrect date on there? Somebody, I guess, filled out their form and put the wrong date on there? And of course, you can see right here, it says Democrats are far more likely than Republicans to vote by mail. Here we go again. It's Arizona, and we see Philadelphia isn't having just one issue. It's having multiple issues. And to see this comment coming from Warnick about human error is, to me, almost like the psychic prediction that Joe Biden made during the election when he said, wait, we have to wait till we count the mail-in ballots the next day to find out where we stand, and lo and behold, he was magically right. And now you got Warnick saying he's concerned about human error. The conspiracy is that he's bringing it to our attention because he already knows in advance that that's what the excuse is going to be. Now, is that true? I don't know. We're going to find out. But of course, this gives people room for conspiracies. This should have been fixed years ago, actually decades ago. And here is the other fuel to the conspiracy fire. Here are the 11 states that will be slow to release election results. And many of them are the same states that had delays with their ballot counting during the 2020 election. It says at least 11 states with highly competitive races will likely take 24 hours or more to report enough of their vote totals to declare winners. The races are in Alaska, Arizona, California, Georgia, Illinois, Maine, Michigan, Nevada, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Include 4 marquee Senate races. Yeah, 4 major races that the Democrats, it's a must-have. So Arizona, Georgia, of course, Illinois, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are actually the biggies. Now, here's one that's very interesting because it looks like for the first time in decades, a Republican might win in New Jersey. So it makes sense to me why it is that state's listed as part of the 11. Can you understand why people have conspiracy theories? Why do these things always magically happen when it is that Dems need to keep control of power or get control of power, and they happen in the same locations? So here we go. Fetterman sues to have mail-in ballots counted even if not signed with valid dates. So all these states have their own constitutions. There are laws that they pass regarding elections. And we found that several of the states during the 2020 election violated their own laws. So here we go again. You would think after 2 years that these laws would be set in stone now that they fixed everything, because the rules are very specific that if the mail-in ballots are missing names, invalid dates, not signed, anything like that, you can give people a temporary time frame to come in and make the corrections. But after that, the ballots are no good. They're not even valid. You're supposed to toss them out. But John Fetterman is fighting in court to make sure they're counted. Well, why do you suppose John Fetterman feels like all those votes should be counted? Unless he feels like if some reason these votes might favor him, that's going to help push him over the line so he could be the representative over there in Pennsylvania. We just barely started voting and already all these issues. Indiana poll worker ejected for allegedly pre-selecting straight Democratic tickets electioneering. So you already have a poll person in favor of the Democrats. I told you these things always manage to magically favor the Democrats. So it says a Democratic election worker was reportedly ejected from the polling location in Carmel, Indiana, after allegedly pressuring voters to choose specific candidates and even pre-selected Democrat nominees on a voting machine. And you want to know why people go down these rabbit holes, and you guys want to call them conspiracy, when we keep finding these types of things popping up all over the place. And sure, people go, well, that's just one incident, but that's not the truth. There's multiple incidences like this. Not so much in this election, not yet as far as we know. But so voting is in full swing for 2022 midterms, and already we're seeing a plethora of issues with voting that all magically fall in favor of the Democrats in the key states in which the Democrats must keep their position. After 2 years or 6 years or however many years you want to look at this, you would think that these things should have been resolved a long time ago. Look, we got to get rid of all of the career politicians, both on the Democratic side and the Republicans, because they're not doing crap to help fix things. They make things worse. We need new blood in there. We need new people that will make a difference, that will go in there and make the changes necessary to help this country move along. Anyways, that's it for now. You guys let me know what you think. Are you surprised at all by this? Didn't you think that these things were fixed? I don't know. Leave a comment down below, and I look forward to responding. I'll catch you later. I'm out.